I am a sucker for gift shops and whatever kind of cheesy stuff they have in them. And one of the things that I like to buy are they're just these little gift books. I don't know, but I randomly found this one, and this one says Stuff Every American Should Know. And it has some interesting things in here. Anyway, I stumbled upon this page. It says, "Why do we pay income tax to the government?" And I thought it would be fun to read this with you. I actually haven't read this one yet, so I don't know what it's going to say in here. Let's go. Because the Constitution allows the government to collect it, sort of. In the days before the Constitution was drafted, the fledgling nation was governed by a document called the Articles of Confederation, which did not give the federal government the power to tax. If the feds needed money, they had to ask the states nicely, and maybe, just maybe, the states would send them a fraction of the requested amount. American citizens liked this system because no one likes to pay taxes, but without taxes, the nation was in trouble. For example, the government was unable to raise money or a navy, and the country was vulnerable to attack from the British, French, and Spanish, who still maintained forts in or near the United States. When they wrote the Constitution, the framers specifically gave Congress powers to tax and spend. They just didn't give them the right to tax people's incomes. If Congress levied a tax, it had to be levied across the board on all citizens throughout a state. They couldn't single out one person and demand payment just from him. Then came a war. To pay for the Civil War, the feds instituted a temporary 3% tax on the income of the nation's richest Americans. This was hardly popular, but once Uncle Sam got a taste, he couldn't go back. He tried again in 1894. In 1895, the Supreme Court slapped Uncle Sam, saying that if government wanted to tax a person's individual property, it had to do so in the time-honored way, across the board through the states. This was impossible to do, so the feds dropped the issue. Okay, I'm good. In 1913, the feds and states ratified the 16th Amendment, which gave Congress the right to tax personal income. Though the amendment has been challenged by tax protesters, it remains in effect. It's the reason the Internal Revenue Service exists and the reason for the annual pain Americans feel emanating from their checkbooks. So, essentially, the income tax started to pay for the Civil War. Isn't this interesting? And then after that, we never got it back. So here we have this big catastrophe, right? This big issue. We need to tax you. It's for your safety. We need to fight the Civil War. So they got that tax, and once they already had it, Americans never got it back, and it only got worse. And that was just a 3% tax on the most wealthy. Very interesting.